Possible changes to abortion access across the nation will likely impact abortion providers.
News 10 ABC's John Gray speaking with an official from Planned Parenthood on how the organization is reacting to the possible overturning of Roe v. Wade.
Joining us now to talk about this important development and this issue, Shelley Hegan, the CEO of Upper Hudson Planned Parenthood. Shelley, thank you for joining us, first of all.
Thank you.
This kind of hit like a lightning bolt out of nowhere last night. I'm guessing that you thought it might be coming eventually, but not last night.
Yeah, certainly. We began preparing for this eventuality in like 2018, like really seeing the writing on the wall that this was the direction the court seemed to be going. And I had conversations probably 2 weeks ago with people, seeing the polling that said less than 50% of people thought that Roe was actually at risk. And I thought, who are these people? Of course Roe's at risk. But then when I got that message last night, it was like a gut punch, like this is really happening. So it's kind of both. Yes, we were expecting it, and yes, we were completely shocked.
As much as if this happens, it's a national issue, where you live is directly impacted greatly by how this will affect you, correct?
100%, and thank you for saying that, because one of my biggest concerns for folks here in the Capital Region and in New York State in general is that for someone who is seeking services or concerned about their ability to access services, they should know that here in New York, we will not be affected by this. By a direct overturn of Roe will not affect us in New York State. That this is going to be an attack on 26 states in the country. Over 30 million people will lose access to abortion, which is a terrible thing, and we're all going to have to roll up our sleeves to help them. But here in New York, we are protected.
Now, I know the argument, I'm already hearing it today, is that it's really not a banning abortion, it's just putting it back in the state's lap. But are you worried that the restrictions will be so strong in some of those states it'll be tantamount to being banned?
Absolutely. There are 16 states that right now have what are called trigger laws, which means that should Roe be overturned, they will immediately outlaw abortion in those states. So 16 states right away. And then the other 10 states either have extremely restrictive abortion laws on the books right now that have not been able to implement because of Roe, or they are working on passing them. So within a year, we would anticipate that 26 states would have zero access to abortion in the United States.
I know the courts are not supposed to be, they're supposed to be immune from politics, but this seems like it just gave the Democrats a huge wedge issue, or a huge issue, period, as we go towards November's elections now. Do you sense that there's going to be a groundswell out there? People who weren't paying attention or didn't take this as a serious issue are saying, now I'm seeing what you were talking about, what you were worried about in 2018, and will it mobilize people?
I believe that it will mobilize people on both sides. I think that the real sad part for me is that the court is no longer the same, that when they make a decision that flies in the face of what 70% of Americans repeatedly have polled to say that they believe that Roe should be the law of the land and safe and legal access to abortion should be protected. That's 70 to 75% people over the last 10 years. 70 to 75% of Americans don't agree on anything. So to have the court rule in a way that is so contrary to where the public is really damaging for the court, because it truly is making the court more political than it needs to be.
Well, I have a feeling we'll be hearing more from you and from Planned Parenthood as well down the road. Shelley, thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you for having me.
We'll send it back to you.